Okay, quick look through. What day is it? Wednesday's end of day closing screens. Let me just quickly have a look how many we've got tonight. I've shared this one out public tonight. If you're out there in the public domain wondering where we've been, right, 51. We've been turning up every day, but I've been a little bit sidetracked because I've been in hospital for heart surgery. So I am in recovery mode, but I'm doing the best I can. Sound and vision. Cheers, James. So this is the first one I've shared in quite some time. Let's just buzz through the markets. I'll do a little bit of a swing recap as well, actually, just looking at a few of the swingable stocks what have gone through the screens over the last week or so, and then we'll just buzz through and we'll just kind of show you what's working. It's going to be pretty obvious what's working still. I'll just bring over my screener and what's working. Well, precious metals, gold mining. The leaderboard is just loaded with these. And what about the AI stocks? Well, where are they? It's all about the precious metal stocks at the moment, and there's a few other trends in other areas. There's a few construction area stocks trending well for us, but we are waist deep in gold, aren't we, at my site mainly? And what else is working? Well, swing trading is working extremely well again. Quick buzz through the markets. I suppose the last time I did one of these videos, I've been saying, I'll just go back to this sort of, we've been talking about waiting for the consolidation to start. And we thought it had started here, and it went back to highs. The two leading markets, obviously leading markets in the world, being the S&P and the Nasdaq, they're the ones we want to watch, even if we trade UK stocks, because the influence of these markets will basically influence everything. So normal back and fill action. I mean, first things first, zoom out. Put a weekly chart up if that helps as well. Just get out of the noise. We've come off the lows. We've gone straight back to highs. And, at some point, a consolidation will happen. The talk out there at the moment, I mean, it's just on repeat, isn't it? Markets are at highs after this big move, waiting for the crash. And it's all crash talk, isn't it? And stuff like that. Well, guess what? Markets have to make new highs just basically to put, that's what bull markets really start, isn't it? Let's just reverse this up. I always go back to this little area here. Off the lows, it did consolidate a bit here, and then you got this channeling sort of sideways action for probably went on for a quarter. And then that's where the bull market started. It went back to highs, then it consolidated, and then that's where the sweet spot is. Don't let me waste 10 minutes time going all the way back through history as I usually do. Just go and have a look yourself. Watch the leaders, S&P, Nasdaq. Expect a 5%. We've actually just had a pretty big correction here. What was that? 20-odd%. We've gone back to highs. So let's just zoom this out again. We've had a pandemic, then we had that big move out of that. We had a bear market. Back to highs. First pullback, went on a trending run. We've had a correction, a meaningful correction. Where did that correction come down to? Really obvious area, really obvious. Back to highs. And though, the UK markets, there's a lot less sort of going on in the UK markets. it's easy to predict that. Well, we don't predict, do we? We turn up and wait for things to start going on, and we'll be waiting for those setups, those first pullbacks, those base breakouts. You know, I turn up every day. I don't make excuses. I turn up every day because, you know, any day, especially in the summer as well. A lot of people walk away from the screens in the summer, but in the summer, a lot of stocks just start to melt up and start to go through highs, and people make all the excuses, don't they? Oh, you know, buying breakouts in the summer and all this kind of stuff. And you know, I bought some of my best positions as they just emerge. They kind of creep up through highs. So yeah, try not to let the bias get in your head. Try to turn up every day with an open mind. I'll just go through these quickly. You know, transports. You know, I've kind of took the liberty of drawing consolidation in on the transports. Dow is just flip-flopping around at all-time highs there. You know, it is, you know, consolidation has been happening. More sideways would be very normal. S&P obviously blasted through the highs. You know, a pullback down, you know, anywhere in this area would be very normal. I've already drawn it on the Nasdaq. You know, the really obvious area for it to just pull into would be that 22 area. Russell, obviously, it's got a bit of strength at the moment. There's a bit of rotation into the Russell. Shy of highs still. DAX has been going sideways for months, just basing out. FTSE 100 took off today, didn't it? No pullback to be seen. You know, we've got this little pullback here and off it went. But, you know, pullback back to 9,000 would be very, very normal again. As you can see, I've drawn it on the 250 as well. It doesn't mean I'm going to wait until the pullback. You know, I'm just going to trade the best opportunities as they come through the screens. And even though I'm expecting a pullback, I'll just go through some of the through some of the sort of what I call swing trades. So swing trade being rather than capturing a position trade or a primary trend move, a swing trade would be a pullback and riding the up move, a pullback and riding the up move. That would be a swing trade. So it's on a faster time frame. And I'm just going to show you some of the ones that have come through the screens. And some of these are pretty low quality for my criteria. But the point is, even the low quality ones seem to be working at the moment. So I think I've got every one what I've looked at and thought that's a good setup, even if it's the stocks doesn't have this sort of gas in the tank I like to trade. You know, a lot of people throw fundamentals totally out, don't they? But I tend to try and find enough swing trades what still have good fundamentals. And you know, Compass, we've got this gap up here, drift back into mean trend, swing day on this day here for execution next day, and it's on a pretty good day too out of that area. You could aggressively sort of start, you know, lessening your potential loss on that one. EXPM, swing day was on the 13th for execution the next day. Bumbled around for 3 days. You know, it's kind of day 2 out today. And not all, even though currently all these are working and they haven't traded any stop loss areas, they won't all work. You know, it's just, you know, it's never going to be like that. Howden, earnings gap just drifts back in. You know, that post earnings fade back into mean trend. We got a swing day on the 12th, and it's just gone sideways since. But it, you know, it's still positive. RKT, earnings gap, drift down into what we call the gap test swing point. I've done know your breakaway gaps for ShareScope. It's out there in the public. You can go and have a look how we pick these. Don't really need to write anything more on the subject. On the 13th of the 8th, we got a confirmed swing day. It's gone sideways for 4 days after that, and then today, bang, up it goes. It's, you know, getting on for halfway to its target already. We go Weir Group. This one just triggered off yesterday. Potential entry today, wasn't it? It offers lots of reward to risk. I would say targeting the highs rather than having to target a measured move. It's lots of available reward to risk. Yes, it could roll over and die tomorrow, but it's hanging in there, isn't it? You know. And here's another one of the recent ones. TCAP. It's financial, not my favourite. We got a high volume swing point yesterday, swing day yesterday on the 19th for execution today, and that one's just which whether I think there's 6 stocks what I've gone through over the last week or so there, and I can't remember any others, but these are the ones I put on my watch list, and I'm in some of them, I'll just say as well. But yeah, I mean, rather than try and predict whether the market's going to be good or not, turn it on its head and just if you've got a methodology, your positions should tell you. You know, if you're trailing heat out of the market and you're building on success, you know, you get to add another position and another position. If you're getting stopped out, you're basically not going to be adding more positions. You know, if your best ideas are not working, you're going to be sitting on your hands rather than forcing ideas on the market. But it's just, it's just interesting, and this is how it always works. Prediction is useless in this game. Feedback from your own positions is what counts. Having a methodology and the methodology will give you the feedback, and things are working. That could be a totally different story tomorrow or, Friday. It really could. But this is how, a professional will approach, especially swing trading, but any kind of, on any time frame. If things are working, you keep pressing. Things aren't working, first thing is you'll get less opportunity because you'll see less setups, and second is you might have to just watch how many paper cuts you get. But let the market lead and be like water. You've got to bend with the portfolio's performance, I suppose. It's a good way of putting it. So that's, I don't bang on about this all day, every day in my chat group. I come to the end of day screens. We just have a look for the best ideas. I have articles in my website how I approach the markets, swing trades or trend trades. I put things in a lane, and members can sort of fill the boots with all the articles, and it's about putting it all together. But one thing I don't do is I hate all stocks evenly. Any stock could work, anything could hit the tape at any time. So I don't go the pump route. I always go just how I approach it, and if that fits with what you're looking for at the time, you'll get something out of that. The good thing we do here is that we turn up every day, and we sit with these trends for a long time, the primary trends especially. So what I'm going to do quickly now is I'm just going to buzz through a few more markets. We'll just have a quick look at Bitcoin. It's just been we've got this channel. It went back to highs. It sort of based out. It went on a little move. It's a more efficient market now, though, isn't it? It's not an inefficient market like it used to be. Now everyone can trade it. TLT just bumbling around, going sideways, and 7 to 10 year 2. We'll quickly have a look at cable. So There's a little bit of what's the dollar doing at the moment? Just bumbling around there. We've got a little bit of strength in the metals this afternoon, haven't we? Gold up a little bit. Gold's just been going sideways for quite some time now, but still, precious metals, total domination. Another thing I'll say is, you know, if you're trading gold stocks and stuff like that, they trade more orderly in the UK on the UK market than they do in the US. You know, you can't really say that for many stocks, but it seems to be different. You know, the UK market tends to dish out some really nice orderly trends in the metals area, the gold area. Right, straight on from that, we've talked swing trades, we've talked lanes of investing. I'm just going to quickly see what gapped up today. Looking for those gap ups every day. I've been doing this every day for who knows how long now. Getting on for 20 years. We see all the news earnings gaps. Not chasing them live in the morning, though I do look at the volume screens in the morning as well. Nothing to see there today. And then I'll buzz through the closing highs, just see what's up on the day, and I'll quickly have a look at the sectors. Precious metals are in there. Lots of investment trusts, a few financials. Right, I'm just going to fly through these quickly. Investment trusts. I'm looking for stocks really. Profitability continues. And again, I'm not looking for anything like this. You know, when I buy a stock, I'm going to be buying on a breakout or a pullback. And then the trend, you know, if you're looking at a stock on a day like today, you've got to say to yourself, well, why, you know, I can't get paid for that trend, what's in the rear view mirror. How do I get paid for the trend? Well, you have to take a decision, don't you, where trends start. You know, and a broken record on this. If you want to ride trends, you have to buy signals, not trends. Where do trends start? You know, you pick your time frame. You could say 52-week highs here. You know, it's a pretty good start of the trend, wasn't it? But the key is just turn up every day, seeing every stock in the whole market. It only takes 10 minutes to do it on a daily basis. We've got a 6-month closing high here on Mincom Group. This thing is just thin and awful. Moving on. And you know, not going to find something every day. Another swing trade, what's working out fine as well. We've got this high in the sky base. It made a dash for a mean trend, which we actually talked about, you know, when we were talking about the base. Bought it on this day, and it's doing nicely. Going in the right direction still. So the large caps, the FTSE 100 large caps, are acting perfectly fine at the moment. Just fly through these quickly. If anything new's poking its head up. And into the pullback, so the swing points. 1 second. While ShareScope catches up. In order of sector, excuse me, oh, it does hurt when I cough. We've got a lot of REITs in the list today. And if I look at, I'll have to look in chat actually, just a quick look in the signals dash in chat. The signal leaders today were financials and REITs, there you go. I'll just bring this over so you can see what I'm talking about. So all signals in the market here, and financials and REITs being the main contributors. So I'll just fly through these again. I've kind of shown you the pitch I look for at the beginning, going through those FTSE 100 stocks. And I'm only going to look at a FTSE 100, well, a liquid stock as a short-term swing, because they move up and down with the market in general. They're very efficient. You know, they've already made it. So they tend to make, you know, a 15 to 25% move, and then they pull back in, and then they'll rotate again. They tend to stair step a lot. When it comes to trying to find stocks what re-rate, you're going to be looking for smaller cap stocks. You're wanting to stock what's going to make the journey from the lower end of the market up into a mid cap or up into a large cap. You know, if you're only fishing in the big liquid stocks, what probably tick all the fundamental boxes you want to tick, you're probably not going to be catching big moves in stocks, big trending sort of re-rating moves. You're probably going to end up, that wave screening will just naturally bring you into the blue chips actually. So I'm looking for beta, orderly high beta with lots of growth basically. And I'm just going to fly through this. This will bring up small caps and large caps, so I'll be also looking for swing lane stocks. This one's a return to growth. It's investment trust as well. You can see the swing point on it though. Just get through these. We're in construction here. Moving on. Remember, orderly price action is good price action. Here's another one. I'm actually holding this one from quite a bit earlier actually, but it is. We talk about gap test swing points as well. We got this gap up and we got a gap test swing point here as well, and that's working too. We got a swing point down here as well, but it's going sideways, basing out. I mean, that's really good action. You know, after a move like this, markets consolidate through time or price. This is obviously going the time route. That shows strength. Doesn't mean it won't dip back and get all loose, but no crystal balls. We don't need a crystal ball. Time finance. So this is obviously a small cap stock, but also a very sloth-like stock. And you know, though it's a sloth-like stock, it did make a nice trending run. On its own time, I will say. In its own sweet time. A little base on that C met there as well. Industrial metals. I don't even think this one's producing yet, is it? So obviously all risk. We call that CTP, calculated total punt. Trademark shown. Let's fly through the rest of these today, and then I'll have a look at my own screener and see what's in there. Henry's at the door. Admiral, I think. I'll just let Henry in. Hang on a second. Coming in, are you? So Hiscox here. I see a swing point on Hiscox here, and I'll throw that. I'll write it down as well. bought myself a pad the other day, but I have no clue where to put it. HSX. I see this, I see the pullback on hunting here, but it's loaded with supply still. This one, it's a return to growth as well. HSX has got light forward numbers, year-on-year numbers, though turnover looks to be ticking up. Let me just go back to that. Turnover ticking up, pre-tax is actually going down, and earnings per share is going down on this one. So not ideal. Non-life insurance, isn't it? Not my favourite area, I would say. I do say that a lot. PAF, obviously, we're riding this one at my site as well. Early adopters who didn't take MTL and a few of the other early ones, CER or whatever, got into this one. The ones who, not everyone got into the gold straight away, but these kind of were laggards at the time, but now they're running well. After I sort of freed up some cash by I think it was CEO what got bought out. I bought into this one on this pullback here, and we must be up a fair bit. We're around 80% on that, something. So that one's working well as well. It's got a few add points on the journey as well. Moving on, swiftly moving on. It's only about 10 more stocks, lots of REITs. Yeah, Carillion. So this one was good to us. This was the pandemic, this pullback here. But everyone's thinking every time he shares live, he ends up looking at these old stocks. So this one broke out pre-pandemic. This is what happened in the pandemic. It came straight down into this very normal area. What was resistance became support. And basically, he threw a swing point on this day here. And then it went straight back to highs. And, excuse me. And if you look at, this is how you have to deal. This is what you've got to deal with at the right-hand edge, day by day as these things come through the charts. As with a breakout, you're looking at this on a breakout day. That's what you've got to deal with. You've got to put your position on, and you've got to size it right and do all this stuff. But the reason we were so bullish on this stock here was it had a reason to break out. It's trading towards some great numbers. It only got pulled in on the back of the pandemic. As soon as the basically the market sort of pressure eased, it went straight back up like a cork, and then off it went on its journey. And that's what you've got to look for. Stocks what refuse to go down, not stocks what have gone down the most. If you want to ride big trends, they're not going to be found in the dumpster, bottom of the dumpster. The best stocks are going to be refusing to sort of sync with the rest of the market. They become really obvious. No, I'm changing this. I'm off on a tangent. So that's just a quick fly through the signals. I've got another dashboard here, what I share every day, and I'm just going to have a quick look at this. TRB, just a list of, there's quite a few on here. TRB, they've all got a little bit of gas in the tank, and the trading technical levels, but it doesn't mean there's going to be anything of it. Just a higher high on Ithaca. SCF, higher high on that one. CLIG, is that? City of London Investment Group, just a higher high on that one as well. HUW, It's a pretty boring session actually, because I try and do a bit of educational stuff while we go through them anyway. INF. Informer, just basically trading 6-month highs again there. Time, we've got like a big loose sort of sideways action. Now, a lot of people will say this is topping action. I know from my time frame, the trend kind of exit would have been triggered, but it doesn't, you know, sideways action does not mean topping action. It could just be basing action. Getting ready for another leg is what I'm trying to say there. And this thing did get loose, didn't it? Wide and loose. But yeah, I kind of, you know, I see it, but it's not really what I want to put my money in at the moment. Yeah, nothing to see there. And then, hang on a minute, I'm just getting a question. I'll answer the question later. If you're actually, I've got a private message, that's all. So I'll answer that one later. Let me just punch in the only let Henry out again. Oh no, hang on a minute, Marley's coming in now. Are you coming in? This is what happens when Michelle's out, the two dogs start hanging around. So the only idea what kind of jumps out at me today is this. It's you know, it's obviously a FTSE 100. It's more of a, if I was to trade this, I'd be targeting somewhere up there. It's not exactly you know, it's not trading to, it's, you know, it's trading towards a tick up in its turnover, which isn't translating into profit or earnings, is it? So you'd have to read, you know, if you read the RNS, that's what you've got to say, well, why is that? You know, why have we got more turnover? But we've got, you know, it might be an acquisition, it might be this, might be that. I don't know. I haven't read the RNS, you know, this is raw screening. But, you know, the numbers show you where you should go and look if you're fundamentally inclined like that. For me, I haven't got a place in my portfolio for this one, but that was the most orderly one I could find today for a secondary short-term swing sort of lane. So you could risk this much to make potentially 3 or 4 times that, 3.5 times that actually. My dashboard tells you exactly here. So yeah, that's what I see today. I'll just put that in the watch list, and I'll keep it pretty short and sweet tonight. Good run on the FTSE 100 today. Sideways in the US as this correction, you know, we're pulling back there, aren't we? We've got a swing down day yesterday in the S&P and the Qs, and we just wait for these markets to land, for the US stocks to come back online. I think at the moment the UK stocks are doing fine. We could just do with a bit more sort of bit more growth to be found, couldn't we? I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully there's a little bit of educational in there for you again. I do this every night. It's my job. That's what I do. Yeah, obviously go visit Trading Bases for lots of free content on there. You can also delve into those tutorials on the share scope as well. I think the links are in my website anyway. Okay, cheers all. I'll leave it there.